What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing my Conference League final prediction as Crystal Palace take on Rayo Vallecano in Leipzig. Now, honestly, if you told people at the start of the season that this would be the Conference League final, nobody would have believed you, but both teams completely deserve to be here. This is Crystal Palace's first ever major European final, and it's also Rayo Vallecano's first European final in their entire history. So this is massive for both clubs, but before we get into my prediction, make sure to subscribe, drop your score predictions down in the comments, and let's get into it. Now first, let's talk about Crystal Palace. Palace have had a really strange domestic season because in the Premier League they finished 15th, which honestly isn't great, but in Europe they've looked like a complete different side. In the Conference League they've scored 25 goals, averaged nearly 1.8 goals per game, and only conceded 12 times all tournament. The balance between attack and defence is a massive reason why they've made the final, and when you actually look at the teams they've beaten, it's impressive, and they're not knocked out Shakhtar Donetsk in the semi-finals with a 5-2 aggregate win, and throughout the competition they've looked dangerous on the counter-attack. The biggest player for me has to be Ismaila Sarr. He's been unbelievable in Europe. He's Palace's top goal scorer in the competition and even the fastest goal in Conference League history during the semi-final against Shakhtar. And the thing with Sarr is that when Palace gets space in transition, he's absolutely deadly. That's where I think Palace could really hurt Rayo. Another thing Palace do well is recover the ball quickly. They've made 557 ball recoveries in the tournament, more than Rayo, and they average over 52% possession as well. So they're not just a counter-attacking side, they can control games too, but defensively I still think there are moments where Palace could look vulnerable, and against the Spanish side that's dangerous because Rayo Vallecano are seriously underrated. Now let's talk about Rayo. This is genuinely one of the best underdog stories in European football this season. Rayo finished 8th in La Liga and came into this competition with one of the lowest valued squads in Spain. Yet somehow they're now 90 minutes away from winning a European trophy, which is insane. And what makes Rayo so difficult to play against is their organisation. They're incredibly tactical, they keep the ball well, their passing accuracy in the Conference League is over 82%, and they've averaged basically the exact same possession stats as Palace. But where Rayo stand out is defensively. That they're aggressive, they press hard, and they make games really uncomfortable. They've also been in fantastic form recently, going unbeaten in the last 9 matches across all competitions heading into the final. That confidence matters in finals. One player I think could be massive is York de Frutos. He's been one of Rayo's standout players in Europe and has consistently created chances throughout the tournament. And then you've also got experienced players like Oscar Trejo, who could actually be playing his final game for the club. Imagine him lifting a European trophy in his final match. It would just be unbelievable, wouldn't it? The atmosphere around Rayo right now is crazy as well. They're literally putting giant screens inside Vallecas because demand is so huge for this game. And honestly, you can tell how much this means to both clubs. Neither of these teams are traditional European giants. This is history for both of them. Now, tactically, I think this final is fascinating because both teams have actually had very similar tournament stats. Both average over 52% possession. Both have scored over 20 goals. Both have kept 5 clean sheets, and both have only conceded 12 goals in the tournament in the competition. So there's literally almost nothing separating them statistically. But I think the difference is individual quality in attack. When I look at Palace, I just trust them slightly more in big moments. I think they've got more explosiveness. I think they've got pace, and I think if this game becomes stretched late on, Palace benefit from that. Rayo will probably control periods of possession. They'll slow the game down. They'll try to frustrate Palace. But I think Palace's attacking quality eventually breaks through. And because of that, my official prediction for the Europa Conference League final is Crystal Palace 2, Rayo Vallecano 1. I think it will be close. I think Rayo absolutely score, but I just slightly trust Palace more in front of goal. I think Ismaila Sarr turns up in another massive moment, and I think Palace edge it later on. Now, before we end the video, I'll ask you guys over on the community tab for your predictions, and the results were 79% if you predicted Crystal Palace to win, while 21% if you went for Rayo Vallecano. So most of you are backing Palace as well, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked either way. That's the beauty of finals, because one mistake changes everything. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up my Europa Conference League final prediction. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment your predictions down below. Who scores first, who gets man of the match, and who lifts the trophy. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. My Champions League final prediction. Please, PSG.